The Afghan liberals claim that up to Attic, Pakistan is actually the territory of Afghanistan, which they leased to the British for 100 years, and that has now been fulfilled, so they want this territory back. Afghans base their destructive claim on three things. The first is the Durand Line Treaty. Second is, Afghanistan has ruled over these areas, and the third is, Laro Bar Yo Afghan, all Pashtuns in Afghanistan and Pakistan are Afghans. The truth about Durand Line Agreement is that, it was signed by the King of Afghanistan, Amir Abdul Rahman, who wrote 4 letters to the British Crown. The reason was that, Soviet Union and Britain had jointly demarcated Afghanistan's borders with Central Asia, but Afghanistan's borders with India remained unclear. As a result of the Durand Line Agreement, Afghanistan gained thousands of kilometers of territory, Kafiristan, later named Nuristan. But Afghanistan does not talk about these areas, covering thousands of kilometers. It is also a fact that, the Durand Line Agreement has been ratified by the Afghan rulers many times since. That is why the agreement was formally celebrated in Afghanistan. Following the Treaty of Durand Line, on the 21st of March 1905, King Habibullah of Afghanistan signed another treaty with the British Crown, recognizing the Durand Line as a permanent border. On August 8, 1919, Ali Ahmad Khan, Afghanistan's interior minister, ratified the agreement. On November 22, 1921, Afghanistan ratified it again. On July 6, 1930, King Nadir Khan of Afghanistan sent a delegation to India, and once again assured to abide by all the old treaties. Interestingly, Afghanistan's borders with Soviet Union and Iran were demarcated jointly by Britain, Soviet Union and Iran. And no Afghan was asked, while demarcating those boundaries. Afghans consider these borders, but Durand Line is the only border which was determined by the will of Afghanistan, and they object to it. Amir Abdul Rahman signed the present Pakistan border agreement with Sir Durand, and on the same day on, the 12th of November 1893, Amir Abdul Rahman also signed the Uzbek-Tajikistan border agreement with Sir Durand. The agreement on the Pakistani border is not acceptable to these Afghan liberals, while the Uzbek-Tajik one is acceptable. According to Article 11 of the Vienna Convention, which Afghanistan has signed, such agreements for international borders will be observed, even after the partition of the countries. Then Afghanistan cannot even argue that the Vienna Convention was signed later. Therefore, every claim of Afghanistan regarding Durand Line is false and baseless. If the Afghans claim that their history is 5,000 years old is accepted as true, then in those 5,000 years, they could only rule the areas they claim, for 87 years. That too in the time of Ahmad Shah Durrani who left Punjab. If the Durrani Empire is the basis of the Afghans' claim, then it was spread to Kashmir, Delhi, Multan and Mashhad. Then why doesn't Afghanistan claim these areas? India also ruled Afghanistan for hundreds of years. Can India claim Afghanistan again? Or will Afghans accept India's claim on these lands? The third case is that of Laro Bar Afghan. It is strange that apart from the Pashtuns living in Pakistan, the majority of Afghans themselves do not know that Afghans are not race or nation like Pashtuns or Punjabis but are a mixture of different nations. Afghans are a combination of at least 42 different nationalities, of which Pashtuns make up only 42%. The remaining 58% of Afghans are a combination of different ethnic groups. If Persians, Tajiks, Uzbeks, Turkmens are also Afghans, will Afghans claim Laro Bar Yo Afghan for Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan and Iran as well? Or is this specially for Pashtuns? Therefore, the whole basis of this destructive and vicious claim is based on mere lies. This claim gave rise to the slogan of Pashtunistan. Afghanistan has never been strong enough to take this territory from Pakistan by force. So they took another path and started plotting. Afghanistan began to publicly support the slogan of Pashtunistan, and began to provoke uprisings and riots in Pakistan. They sought help from Soviet Union and India against Pakistan. India is the eternal enemy of Pakistan, and Soviet Union has always dreamed of reaching the warm water of the Indian Ocean. Soviet Union invaded Afghanistan with its communist ideology. When resistance arose in Afghanistan against this secularism, Soviet Union was called upon for military assistance. Millions of Afghans lost their lives, millions became homeless, Afghanistan became the most backward country in the world, and a large number of Afghans left Islam and became atheists. In Pakistan, they began to support the insurgency with extreme brutality and aggression, and with the help of their proxies, set fire to KPK, the tribal districts and Balochistan. In KPK and former FATA, from Fachir-IP to TTP and PTM, run continuous insurgent movements. Afghanistan repeatedly launched direct attacks on Pakistan's borders. They harmed themselves and distressed us. But what was the result of all this? Over the years, Afghanistan has not been able to take even an inch of Pakistan's land, nor will it ever be able to do it, God willing. Pakistanis have erected a fence with Afghanistan, and demands for repatriation of Afghans who are refugees in Pakistan are increasing day by day. The main reason for the screams of Afghan liberals is the closure of their smuggling and illegal movement due to the Pak-Afghan border. 60 million Pathans live in Pakistan, and they are prominent and successful in all walks of life. In order to break this unity of Pakistan, these Afghan liberals use the slogan of Punjabi and Pathan, and run insurgent movements through proxies. But today is the age of social media. Now it has become easy to reach the truth, and also to convey the truth to the people. Now the question will surely arise, whether the slogan used to destroy Afghanistan is true or just a hoax. If the Afghan people come out of this deception, then maybe Afghanistan will develop for the first time in its history. It will be a corridor between Central Asia, Russia, China and Pakistan. For the first time, factories will be built in Afghanistan. It will have its own electricity and Afghanistan will no longer need the world.